Connection, as defined by Oxford Languages, is a relationship in which a person, thing, or idea is linked or associated with something else. I think we're designed for human connection. We are inherently social beings, craving interactions, relationships, anything that will allow us to connect on some level. The usual social outlets we have are almost non-existent. Due to COVID restrictions, it's been hard to interact with other students. All the struggles that students are facing during this time and the stories they have to tell are important to hear out. That's where this project comes in. We, 3 RPI freshmen, decided to join forces for 6 weeks and work to create an experience no one had expected. We paired 12 RPI students together, all of which were complete strangers to each other. Here's how it went down.
My full name is Isabella Eve De Simone.
My name is Nimar Cisneros.
My name is Alex Leclerc.
My name is Maya.
My name is Madeline Grace Cardillo.
I'm Dimitri Alexander Scavinos Lopez.
So my name is Julia Kelly.
My name's Alyssa Fitch.
I sent you the question. You read it out loud to her. She answered it first. You answer it.
If you were an inanimate object, what would you be and why? That's an odd question.
It's a very odd question. If I could be any inanimate object, I don't know. I would probably be this flannel.
That flannel.
This flannel specifically, because I really, really like this flannel. And if I could be anything in the world, it would just be this.
Jeez. The first thing that came to my mind is a longboard. I'd be a longboard because I like longboarding.
I'd probably be a longboard.
I can travel places. Yeah, I get to go places then and eat asphalt.
It's nice to ride on, so I feel like it must be good to just kind of like roll around and just like be that close to the ground going that fast was the first thing that came to mind.
I think I'd like to be a book. I really like to read, and I like all the different things that can come with it. Like there's so much information inside of them, and they're cool.
A pair of shoes, because I like traveling around a lot.
A paper clip. Hold things together. I feel like it'd be pretty useful.
A rubber duck. Because it's kind of like quirky and, you know, fun to be around.
I would personally like to be my own little ring with like special stone or something.
What is something you're terrible at but wish you could do well?
Oh my gosh. Like many different forms of art.
Art in general, just drawing.
I wish that I could like draw and paint well, and then like play instruments. I played piano for a little bit, but I'm not that good. But yeah, definitely art.
I wish I could do music well. That's an easy one. I wish I could sing, play piano, play violin, all that good stuff.
I'm really bad at skateboarding and I like really wish I could do it because my older brother's really good at it and he's like tried to teach me. It just doesn't work though.
I wish I had more confidence in talking to people. I do meet a lot of people and I'm really good at talking to them, but it's sometimes a little difficult for me.
Speak a foreign language. I am almost illiterate in the 5 years of French I've taken since middle school through high school. It sounds really beautiful when you get it right. I just can't, no matter how hard I've tried and studied.
Valid.
And you?
I have the ideas, but I can't draw or paint. I'm like really terrible, and I wish I had that kind of like outlet of creative expression, I feel like.
I have zero creative ability. I'm a very sports-oriented person, and my sister can do this like amazing kind of artwork pieces, and I'm like, I can't draw a stick figure.
I just can't, like I'm so bad at it. I'll have an idea and I'll try to put it on paper and then it's just not what it needs to be. So I'm not very good at that.
What is the movie that never gets old for you?
And always makes you feel better when you're down.
The Sound of Music.
Aww.
I used to always watch that like all the time when I was little, and it's like my feel-good movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love The Sound of Music. I remember like the Spoonful of Sugar song, and I would like always, is that Sound of Music?
That's very
Poppins. Anyways, I do like that movie though, I promise.
Probably Nemo.
I think Nemo.
I watched Nemo like 100 times when I was a kid. Like every single time I got in my dad's truck, he put on Nemo for me.
Even though it's a kid's movie, I know that everything will be fine in the end. And it's okay to have adventures and like things going wrong, and it's a story for the future. It's kind of funny too.
Wolf of Wall Street. I love that movie. I love the movie Wolf of Wall Street. I've seen it like 6 times and it's 3 hours long, and I love that movie so much.
Never watched it.
That's
Never even heard of it.
That's so disappointing. What about you?
Favorite movie that never gets old. Jeez, that's tough. If I'd say TV show, it'd be The Office. But if it's a movie, I don't know, I like Marvel movies. They make me happy. I think they're funny.
You know what's funny? I've never seen a single superhero movie.
Oh, my, superheroes at all?
Superhero at all, in general.
Definitely got to cut that part out.
Level 2.
Level 2.
We're moving on to level 2 here.
What fact about yourself took the longest to understand or accept?
I always thought of myself as a super nice person, and I always thought I was able to handle supporting others. And then there was one time where I hung on to someone a little bit too tight, and it almost took me down with them. So I just needed to respect my own personal space. Yeah.
I think what took me the longest to understand was how I value positivity so much, and why other people being negative always got on my nerves and things like that. And it's just because it affects me so much, because I always look to the positive things. So
yeah, that's a really good one.
What's something about yourself that you tend to hide?
I'd say that I'm insecure with myself. I don't usually show that to most people.
Any emotion in general that's negative, I try to hide. I would honestly say probably how little confidence I truly have. I like to come off as a very outgoing person, but sometimes I'm just kind of let's take it down a notch. I kind of just laugh myself through it, try to make a joke out of it and just pretend that it's just not there. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I would hide from other people.
What's been the most devastating moment of your life thus far?
Of my whole life. Probably my parents getting divorced. That was not the easiest thing I've ever been through.
The first moment that comes to mind is back in middle school when I realized that I was pretty much faking my entire life. And it made me do a full 180. And basically I was depressed for a solid year, clinically depressed. That sucked. And then probably another really low moment was actually the beginning of this semester too, for similar reasons, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. How about you?
One of the worst moments has been me coming out to my mom as bisexual, and she really was just not having it. She was not very supportive. She wasn't necessarily I get out of my house, I don't support you, but you're not really gay. No, you're not like that. You're not really like that. So that was kind of tough to deal with.
How is your semester really going?
I'm transferring. I'm not coming back next semester.
Really? Where are you transferring?
To a community college. I am spending the rest of my year at a community college and working, and then next year I'm going to probably go to University of Pittsburgh.
That's cool. Why is that?
I don't like RPI. Can we put this in the thing?
It doesn't matter. I said something very similar.
I honestly think that RPI is more of an engineering technology school, and me being a psychology and cognitive science major.
Oh, we're gonna have a conversation. Psychology and cognitive science dual?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating because I just tried to get a dual with mechanical engineering and psychology.
How'd that go for you?
It's not gonna work out very well. And actually, I just was writing down yesterday that I'm considering changing my major to psychology.
It's kind of what I expected. It's not great, but I kind of was preparing myself for that. I was preparing for my grades to be lower than they were in high school, just because college is harder, and that's pretty much what it is. So I'm okay with that right now. I'm definitely stressed out, but I feel right now it's a healthy amount of stress. So
yeah. I actually kind of agree with you. I knew coming in from high school it was not going to be the same. A's were not going to be a thing. But it's this stress that's kind of new to me. I had a lot of stress back in high school, but it was it's a little exam, it's whatever. But here it's this is worth 20% of my grade. So I've had 2 panic attacks in this past semester. and I had to like call the counseling center and everything, but they really managed it really well with me. And that was like in the first 2 exams, which was horrible. But now I'm doing fine. I kind of changed my perspective on like what exams actually matter. So I think that's kind of good I went through that and got better.
Improvement, how to deal with stress, definitely important thing in college.
How is your semester really going? And by really, it's really.
Wow. I was hoping he would forget to ask this question. I switched my major 2 weeks in because I had a really big epiphany. I feel like I basically thought I was going to do engineering my whole life, which is a given coming to RPI basically. But when I got here, I realized that there's a really big difference between being good at something versus passionate about it. And then I kind of thought to myself, I'm gonna study this for the next 4 years of my life and then get a job and then do this for the rest of my life. And I just was like, there's no way I could do that. And then like I've had a bunch of stuff like happening outside of school, like family things, and like I had to go like to my aunt's house for a couple days a couple weeks ago because my great-grandfather like passed away, but in Minnesota. This is the whole like COVID thing, like I can't go there. I made the decision last week to take a leave of absence for next semester, so like I won't even be here next semester. It's just it's like been really, really tough for me. How about you? How's your semester really been going?
I mean, like if I'm honest about it, it hasn't been good. In terms of classes, the first like 3 weeks, I didn't really understand what was going on at all, and so I did atrocious in 3 of my classes, and so I've pretty much had to spend the past since then catching up, trying to do better so I can bring my grades back up. In terms of like anything else, I mean, I haven't had trouble fitting in here. I've been able to find a good group of friends, and that's really been really helpful because I have like a group of people I can support myself with.
Are you currently pursuing what makes you happy?
So back to like the lying to myself, I want to say yeah, because like yeah, I love science, I love engineering, why not? So I'm a biomedical engineer, it sounds awesome. But I love art. I'm doing a minor in graphic design, and sometimes people ask me if money wasn't a thing, if a job didn't have to be a thing, what would you be doing? I would be doing graphic design 1000%, or business, or something like creative and fun, and I'm doing a minor on it, but I guess the answer is yes and no. What about you?
Yes. I'm an aeronautical engineer, and like my one goal is to like be an astronaut, which sounds like, I don't know, I feel like I sound like a little kid. I'm like, I want to be an astronaut, but like I genuinely like want to go to space. At the moment, it's like I enjoy engineering. It probably isn't like the thing that I love, but it's like gonna get me there.
Yeah, like your
my master's, yeah. Yeah, so it's same yes and no.
I would say right now, at this moment, I currently am. I think that now that I finally realized that RPI is not the place where I want to be, and I've kind of made this plan, I feel like right now I am currently going towards what makes me happy. I think I am right now.
That's awesome.
What about you?
I feel like I'm a few steps behind you. I think I'm kind of coming to the crossroads of realization, and I haven't quite dedicated to it yet. So I don't know whether it's going to be being a psych major at RPI or transferring to another college. That's something I'm going to have to figure out soon. So I'd say for me, I'm approaching going on the right path to what makes me happy.
Good for you.
Thank you. I'm happy for you too.
Thanks.
If you could pick a color to describe me, what would it be and why?
I don't know exactly what the color is called.
Okay, describe it.
I want to say it's like a mix between like a violet, like somewhere between a violet and like a crimson red, somewhere like right in the middle between that. Like a shade like this, but slightly more pastel. Purple is a mix of red and blue. Red and blue because red usually indicates a sense of tenacity, a sense of like adventure and excitement, while blue also indicates a sense of depth and understanding. So those two combined, and then slightly more pastel because you have this kind of like this light, fun energy.
Probably yellow. Just because you've been like smiling this whole time and like, like you've been like smiling and laughing and I don't know, it's just a happy color.
For you, I would say blue. I think the first reason is I saw your eyes, they're blue. It's the first thing I look when I see at people, and it's my favorite color. And I think blue is one of those colors that's always very clear. And I see that you're very clear in what you want, even though, you know, like, maybe what I'm going through right now is not the best, but I know I'm gonna reach what I want.
How would you describe me to a stranger?
I would describe you as someone that knows what they want, but at the same time, I feel like you're very humble. I don't think you take people for granted. I think you're very sincere in everything you say and do. I feel like if I would ever be feeling down, I'll like text like, Bella, how you doing? Like, would you want to like get lunch and like talk about stuff?
Thank you.
I'd say that you're short, but you're sweet, And you have a beautiful laugh, and you have a way of, I don't know, making this conversation a lot easier than I thought it would be. So you're a good conversationalist, for sure.
Thank you, I really appreciate that. That's very, very nice.
You're definitely, like, I can tell you're kind, like, right away, like, as soon as you walked in. Just super kind, super, like, genuine. That's funny that you, like, you think of yourself as, like, introverted, because I would have definitely guessed that you were, like, kind of like a life of the party, like, always down to have fun. That's definitely what I get from you.
Okay, yeah.
But I think, like, behind that, I think you're, like, super relaxed and, like, you're, like, kind of down to just do whatever and just chill.
Kind of looks like Harry Potter.
Dang, I'll take that as a compliment. I love Daniel Radcliffe.
Seems very intelligent, seems very put together, very mature.
Put together, wow, I'm doing a good job, aren't I? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Final question.
Final question. What has this experiment taught you, and what has it made you feel? Do you feel you've related on any common struggles?
Yeah, I think that we definitely connected on a bunch of different things, which was, I really like this. I think this was really interesting.
It's definitely a good idea. Highly recommend that we did this more often with more people.
I think that this was a good experience for me to have. I got to know somebody who I didn't know before, and especially with Corona and everything going on.
How's it made you feel? It makes me feel good, obviously. It's nice to connect with someone, especially who's possibly another like psych major. That's really cool. I've always believed that there's a lot more that connects us than what divides us, and obviously this has done a good job of proving that.
I feel like everyone can find some common ground, like pretty much no matter who you are.
But yeah, I kind of learned that even though we don't necessarily are identical, even though we can just talk about each other, and it instantly makes us feel more close to each other. I think I got to know myself too a bit more.
Yeah, made me answer honestly to a lot of those questions.
Would RPI students benefit from this? I definitely think so, especially like you said during Corona, because one thing, not to totally diss RPI, that they haven't done great at is allowing for community and for people to actually like grow together. It's one thing to talk on Discord, but it's another thing to sit down and talk, as clearly seen here.
We're at like an engineering college, and generally engineers are very awkward and don't socialize as much. It's hard right now in a pandemic because there was a lot of social events that didn't happen that would give people an excuse to go out and meet people. But like a lot of people here like won't go out on their own and do it. So like something like this would like give them an opportunity to go out and meet people in like a way that's like structured so that it's less scary and be like, oh, like what if I don't know like what to say or like what to talk about? Like you're given what to talk about.
So it's very interesting to get to meet you in these like easy, intermediate, and hard questions. I feel like it's like a highway to like friendship.
Yeah.
It was very cool, and yeah, I'm really happy I said yes to this.
Right? Me too.
And cut.